Hello and welcome to this second video in our training series on version 4 of the WAutoChat application. So if you want to discover me directly with this video, I invite you to watch the video that precedes this one. I will leave the link in the description to be able to understand the basics because it is really chronological. To make it simple for those who discover me directly with this video, WAutoChat is an application that allows you to create WhatsApp chatbots simply without knowing how to code. And not only WhatsApp chatbots, you can set up all kinds of automation scenarios on WhatsApp. So you can track everything. You can really retrieve the information you want in groups. You can really automate your catalog. You can automate the statuses. You can really do everything you want to do. But you still have to master the tool, so that's why we're in this training series. So we're going to continue in the previous video. We've seen a lot of things. We've seen the actions, we've seen the private message block, and we've seen the redirect action to go to blocks. Well, that's not where I ended up, so before continuing, I wanted to notify you that everything we've done, we've tested directly here. But if you have already connected your WhatsApp account, you can directly launch the bot and it will do everything we've done on WhatsApp directly. I'll show you now. I've launched the bot on my number. It has to be on. So I have a WhatsApp account. I've connected the bot to my WhatsApp business and I'm going to do the test with it. So here I am in my number and I am on my personal WhatsApp and I will write a message to WhatsApp that I have connected to the bot. So you'll see that what we programmed last time will work. So when we say hello, it says hello and welcome. When we write your services, it has a word that includes the word services. It detects and tells us here are our services. So basically like that, we use the tester directly here to see. But if it works in the tester, know that it will also work on WhatsApp. That's why now I'm going to stay in the tester more to simplify things than to go directly to WhatsApp. So as long as it works here and when you connect your WhatsApp account, it will also work. Perfect. So here in this video, what we're going to do is do a little project together. So here we're going to use the action menu. The action menu is actually a message, a structure. I'll give you a preview. The menu is something like that. So on WhatsApp, that's what it looks like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to a new message preview. That is, when I receive a message, I'm going to tell the person first. So I'm going to send him a simple message and say hello and welcome to our store. And after that, I'm going to add an action where I'm going to create an interactive menu. An interactive menu is where the person can choose the options and have the answers according to those options. So the head is up to you to put. He sees what it corresponds to there. So I might put the name of the company. This is my company. In the description, I'm going to put, here are our services. At the bottom of the page, I'm going to click to choose. And the two buttons, I'm going to put the main menu. Now the options, that is, the options he will have to choose from. So I can create an option. For example, among our services, I might put delivery. In the description, we will offer you a delivery menu. So there, the block to which we will be directed when the person chooses that. So I'm going to create a block and I'm going to call it delivery. I add and I validate the option. So there, the option is there. I'm going to add a second option that I'm going to call contact. I'm going to put my contact name, and when the person clicks on this option, I'm going to tell him I have a block that I'm going to create, which I'm going to call contact. I create, it registers. So I have two options. It suits me already. It's good to test. I add. So there, we're going to send a message to the person. And after that, we're going to send him a menu where he can choose. So I register. And the blocks we created earlier, that is, the delivery block and the contact block, you can see them already created. When the person has chosen delivery, I'm going to be asked. So I'm going to say, sorry, I'm going to call it delivery service. So you can put whatever you want. That is, when the person clicks on delivery, you can ask the person his address, his name, his number, whatever you want. You can add these actions there. I'm just going to put delivery service so we can test. And at the contact level, I'm going to put call name. So I add it. I register. Let's test our block to see what it looks like. If someone writes, he wrote us hello, we send him the first message. It says hello and welcome to our shop. And at the same time, we offer him an interactive menu, okay, where he can choose. So I click, you see the two options that we put. If the person clicks on delivery, he receives the message that we put in the delivery block. On the other hand, if he chooses contact, he receives the contact message. Let's test this on WhatsApp, you'll see. Because here, in the testers, it may not be very designed. But in WhatsApp, you'll see what it looks like. If the person writes to me, for example, hello, we'll say what? We'll say hello and welcome to our store, and we display the interactive menu. And he can click and choose if it's a delivery or if it's a contact. Depending on what he chooses, we could have the answer we need. So the idea for me is not really to put complex messages in it. It's just that you can understand how the main menu works. Well, that's what we saw. How do we create an interactive menu? And how do we direct the person, depending on what he clicked on the menu? Let's move on to another step. We're going to see another action now. So I'm going to remove all this first, because I'm not interested in it anymore. Let's move on to another action called user capture. In fact, the user capture action is a form, okay? Or when you send the person a question, okay? A question that you send to the person in order to retrieve an answer before continuing. And as long as the person has not given this information, we do not pass, okay? So let's make a very simple example. We're going to ask the person to enter your name. Enter your name. The type of data is, the information I want to retrieve is what? Is it a test? Is it a number? Is it an email? Maybe it's a file. All that. So I can say the type of information I want. Well, for me here, the name is generally in the form of a test, and the error when the capture is incorrect. So when the person grabs something that is not correct, which does not match the format we want, we display an error, and the command to pass. So if we want the person to pass the question, we're going to put a question, we're going to put a command there, when the person is going to type that. Even if the capture is not correct, it will pass the question. So I'm going to add that. We're going to ask the person his name. Then we're going to ask him, maybe, enter your age. And this time, age is a number. Age is a number. So I'm going to put number, and I add same thing. And when I have this information now, I can send a message and say, thank you for your information. So when the person sends me a message, automatically, we're going to ask him his name. Then we're going to ask him his age, and as soon as he enters this information, and it's correct, then we're going to display the message, thank you for your information, let's test it. And you'll see what it looks like. So if I could, hello, automatically, he tells me, enter your name, I'm going to put that since it's a test, it's going to pass. So it passes. It asks me now, your age. So for age, the person puts, hello. That is, he puts something that is not correct. It puts, 16 incorrect. Try again. Yes. So the person will maybe put, I don't know, if he still puts bullshit, it's going to be, I tell you, as long as the person has not entered the information as he wants, we will continue to display the error message. But as soon as I type the age, maybe 50. I'm not 50 anyway. I type 50. Yes. It displays, thank you for your information. So in fact, the action of grabbing the user allows us to retrieve information from the user by ensuring that it respects the format we want. Okay. So you can choose the type of data. There are several. There are numbers. Phone number. So if I ask the person his phone number, the application will allow me to check if what the person typed is correct. If we ask, for example, his email, it will allow us to check that. If we ask for a link, so on and so on. Now when everything that is there does not correspond to what we want a particular format. For example, I want the person to enter the idea. It's not about the transaction. And I know that the idea of the transaction must start with, maybe, X and end with DC, for example. Since I don't have these options there, I can use what we call regular expressions. So you can go to ChatGPT and type regular expressions to check if a word contains, or starts with this character, ends with this character. And ChatGPT will generate regular expressions for you. You copy, you paste it there. And like that, the bot will be able to verify this type of format, the information you want to retrieve. So that's it, for users. Now, we could say, what I want is not just to ask questions, but to be able to retrieve the answers, and maybe be able to do other things, other actions with. Of course it is possible, by using what we call variables. Okay. Variables will allow us to retrieve, and to generate information, that will be persistent, and that we will be able to reuse after. So let's suppose now that the person asks for his name. He gives me the name. I want to register the name in the variable. Note that there are two types of variables, the user variables and the bot variables. For the moment, I will not give you two different types because it will be too complicated. So, the name of the variable, I call it name to say the name of the person, and the value, it will be what he grabbed. Remember, in the previous video, we said that what the person grabbed is in a variable, which is called. We have already seen this variable, which is called message. So, by doing like that, and by adding, I will just place a row of names. Like that, it asks the person to enter his name. When the person types the name, we take the message that the person typed, and we put it in a variable that we created, that we called name. And same for, we will create a variable called age, and which will be what the person typed for the question of age. So, the variable will be the value of the message variable, which the person typed. We will put it right there. So, then we ask the person his age, and we get, sorry, it didn't go well, there you go. We ask the age of the person, we get the information, and we put it in the variable age. Like that, in fact, arriving here, I can say, thank you for your information, and display it, name, and display the name he typed. So, like that, a variable that we have already created. The variable name, we created it together, and age. So you see, these two variables, in fact, it's because we created them, that we can put them. If we hadn't created them, it would mean that the variables are not defined. So I register. So, if I register and I test, you will see that if I put hello for example, it tells me your name. Here, I always put Alapro. It asks me your age. I will put 35 for example, and I validate. You see, it tells me, thank you for your information, the name, Alapro, age 35. So, it has well recovered this information and registered them in variables. So, everywhere, in another blog or anywhere else, if I need his name or his age, I can just call the variable that I created for him. I just do like this, and I put the name of the variable in it. Age, for example, you see, and that's all. So, that's what variables are. I think that fundamentally, if you have followed the first video and the second video, you have understood the principle, you have understood the essentials. And all that will remain, it will be just to master these other integrations there. And that will be all. Thank you for following me, and do not hesitate to ask me questions. If you have them, in comment, subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.